People sometimes ask the question, is it possible to be happy all the time? Isn't life just the succession of happiness, sadness, sorrow, pain? I mean, this is what many of the great masters have said over the years. If we learn how to keep our center within ourselves, we'll find that, no, we can learn to be happy all the time, but it's not an easy quest. We need to develop a certain power. People often think about yoga as developing a power to do one thing or another, or in a worldly sense, a person wants to develop the power to be rich, to be famous, to be successful in life. But the most useful power, I think, that all of us need to be able to develop is to be able to choose our happiness, choose to be calm at will, choose to be peaceful at will, choose to be able to control our emotions at will. And this, if you notice in your own life, is not such an easy thing to do. And the problem is our happiness is we base our happiness on what happens outside of ourselves. And if we do that, we're never going to be able to be happy all the time, because life itself always is changing. This happens, that happens. Success one day, disaster the next day. Oh my gosh, I crashed my car today. Oh, I'm unhappy. I got the raise. Now I'm happy, and now I can buy the new car. And so it's up and it's down. But you know, if you look very closely, happiness is not in the car. I mean, it doesn't reside inherently in the car. It's simply inside of ourselves. It's something outside of our life stimulates us to be happy or unhappy. And so if we can learn to be able to realize that happiness is always inside of ourselves already, then it's just a matter of how do I access that? And of course, happiness is not stimulus, the senses, being excited, those sorts of things. That happiness is really, true happiness is calm and it's joyful. And that is within us all the time. And you could say the quest of every spiritual path, the quest of learning to be a true adult and mature person, is learning to be able to access that which is inside of us all the time already. And this is what we do when we meditate. This is what we do when we learn to become calm, we learn to become concentrated, is to be able to access that which is within us all the time. And when we can do that, then we can choose. In the midst of something, a disaster happens, we can then recall that peaceful state and be able to react appropriately. Most people in life don't respond to situations. They merely react to them. In other words, they're driven by their emotions, by their likes, by their dislikes, their expectations. In other words, you could say they're driven by the hormones within themselves. They're not able to respond appropriately. Think of a doctor in an emergency room. He doesn't get emotionally reactive when something happens. His training has taught him to be able to respond to the situation. And this is what we need to do for ourselves. We're the doctor of our own selves. Learn to respond to whatever comes in life and then react appropriately. Now, when you can learn to do that, with a little bit of detachment, a little bit of removal from wishing things to be other than they actually are, then you find you can begin to control and you can summon up that happiness or that joyfulness at will. And this is what, when you have that power, you really have something. Because why do people seek riches, fame, and fortune, the perfect home, the perfect marriage? It's because they want to be happy. And if you can learn that happiness is with you already, then you have the secret to being happy all the time. It's just a matter of learning how to access it.